What's going on, YouTube? Got some good cars today. Finally finished the new release. What is this? Premium release. That is a 19. So I got the Buicks finally. All of them. Found them. Didn't have to go online for them. So I'm excited about that. So we'll share those. And also have the other Buicks that have come out from Autoworld so far. So we'll take a look at those. And then we got the new Hitch in tow. The only one really that I wanted out of the series. 71 Olds Vista Cruiser. So now we have a 70, 71, and a 72 in the collection. The that vacation movie one that came out, I didn't get that yet. You know, if I come across it, I'll probably get it. But I'm not gonna, go after it online or anything. So let's take a look at some vehicles. And then another exciting one I found, Kings of Crunch Series 3. We got the 1970 Ford F-250 Midwest four-wheel drive center. And this is really the beginning for Bigfoot. This is what the company that did Bigfoot, they made this truck. Before it was called Bigfoot. So really cool truck. I'm going to roll a dice. I'm going to open the one I found, because I did find it kind of early since it's been released. So I'll probably come across another one. But for right now, we'll take a look at that. So I did open the package. We're going to take a look at that truck too and compare it to the other Bigfoot. And then we have, to round it out, I have a Johnny Lightning, which is rare for me to get one of those. And but it was a good subject. 1969 Continental Mark III. This car is a very nice car. These cars are really cool. 69, these cars are very high performance. I mean, for the motor. It came with a big block Ford engine and quite the looker, And I think it was sort of with the Thunderbird, but a little bit different. They kind of joined forces a lot more in 70. The whole car changed. But prior to that, I think the Mark III was a little bit its own deal, sort of. So we're going to take a look at that car too, kind of historic for what Ford was doing back then. And we got a 75 Ford F100. This one's the Hobby Shop series. Comes with extra tires, which actually I kind of like, the wagon wheels. So without further ado, where do you want to start? Let's look at the Johnny Lightning. Very rare car. This is release 1 version A. So it's got the period correct advertising on the background. So that was a Ford picture back then. And Ford's color, I already had it separated, Wimbledon white. Limited edition. So let's take a look. Ooh. A little front heavy on the camera here. Alright. Excuse me. So let's take a look at this Lincoln. Very nice car. It's very Johnny Lightning. And why I say that is, Johnny Lightning's more like a Hot Wheels type car. Certainly has its roots back then. But it's a little bit, not the scale. And it's kind of sort of made up in terms of the proportions of the car for real. It's a little shorter. It does present well by itself, but against cars that are supposed to be the same size as it, they're much larger. So this is, I'd say, a smaller casting. But it's really cool. It's a two-tone, or it's a soft top car. I mean, it's vinyl roof. The other one I believe is black, but the white one, I think it's black. I think the other one was black, but the other release. But it's a black interior, white car. It's got like a wire mag on it, wheel. And that could be like a simulated wheel cover, or it could just be like something that Johnny Lightning had in the arsenal. Haven't seen this wheel too much, so works well on this car. And of course, there's your Continental back end. That's so famous. This is the one that everybody copied. You put the Continental kit on a lot of stuff. I forget it if in '69, even though this had this cutout, I forget if this tire was still like that or if they pushed it up towards the under the package shelf. I can't remember. On this simple base, but it is metal. And Johnny Lightning axle setup is much like a Hot Wheels, where it's that separate axle and then you have it kind of spun on here. If you take these tires off, there's a hubcap on top. That's how Johnny Lightning does its wheels. It's kind of interesting. I don't even know if that hood opens. I don't even really, it doesn't matter to me really. Let's see. I don't want to scratch it. Yeah, it's a little tight, so let's leave it. You know, it's going to be a big Ford. It's going to be like a 429 car. Big block. And a C6 automatic, I think, back then. So it had a 3-speed, you know, automatic car. Probably a very big highway gear. Probably under 3 to 1. It's like probably like a 290. Something like that, rear end. Although you could probably get a high-power rear end, too. Like a 390 axle or like a 350, something like that. I'm sure you could choose, or 320s set up. Make it a little bit faster, but these are, you know, these are for the big highway miles, and someone wanted to cruise to work in style because it is a 2-door car. I do like it. The profile is cool. 69 car, Lincoln Continental Mark III, very nice. Very rare for me to use Johnny Lightning stuff, but you know what? It's all right. It's okay. So there it is. Ford, Lincoln. There we go. So next, we're going to look at, let's look at this F100. This is the hobby shop. This is Series 6. Take a look in the package. Get the wheels. It's okay, I'd say. Not bad. A lot of packaging. A lot of packaging. Do get separate axles. And with the night, I like the axles that they give you, you know, on these sets, or if you get the wheel and tire set. Basically, it's their axle, but without the ribbing. So the tires and wheels, when you're exchanging them back and forth, they go, you know, on very nicely. So there's this truck. Let's get it out. These hobby shop cars usually have more graphics, I'd say, and they usually come with some sort of accessory on a vehicle, like a bed rail, and then of course, you know, you get a person on this. Depends on how they feel. Some come with tires and axles. Some come with like a person. Some come with a prop, like a surfboard or something. So, or a gas pump. So it's kind of randomized. Whatever Greenlight feels accompanies the vehicle the most. This truck's been out for a minute, but I didn't get it yet. I saw it finally locally. You know, these type of things I can try to find if I be patient. And I like this one. Another cool stripe package on this truck. It's not boring, you know. Again, Greenlight's excellent casting of the Ford truck. It's very, very well done. As I've said in other videos, again, the deep bed. Tampa work is really good. You know, the only thing that ever really is the issue with these cars is the wheels and tires. But it's an easy fix, so I'm not even worried about it. Still, some issues with the inside window, you know, with glue. You know, to completely get rid of that, you'd have to take the car apart because you can't get in through the side. But it's fine. It's easy to get. Easy to go through. Just a great looking truck. I love the red. Looks very nice. See if we can get a more light on the subject here. Just a good looking truck. I'm going to try to turn on the background lighting too. I think it's one of the best ones so far, I'd say. Almost reminds me of Starsky and Hutch. It's kind of like that. Which, by the way, I don't have it on camera, but I found a green machine, Starsky and Hutch, which is pretty cool. So it's in the nether regions of the collection right now. I do like the white wagon wheels. It's the first time I've seen these wheels on the two-wheel drive setup truck. This F100, so it's going to be the lightest duty half-ton truck you could buy. They really got rid of the F100 and went to the F150 as the base tonnage, but so they were then. You can certainly start very low. And the F100 had more name recognition at this point because it started with F1 and it went to F100 on these lighter duty trucks. You can see I love the Tampa work, like I said. It's got a red interior that matches the 75 truck, so it's got that 75 grill, which is very nice. But that stripe is very Starsky and Hutch on the top. Just a cool truck. This will be good, I guess. You know, if you wanted to lift it a little bit, I think it would look nice. So I might do that with it. But such a cool truck. This one actually rolls pretty good. Not too wobbly. Just sticks out a little bit too much. And again, it's very low. Just a little bit higher would be better on this. But just can't deny how good the body is on these. I mean, really. And just for a little parting shot before we move on. Look at all these Fords that are starting to pile up around here. I got a lot of Ford trucks. They keep multiplying. A lot of these guys coming in. But they did, you know, I'll be a fan if the casting is that accurate. You know, I'm all in. Definitely all in. You know, I wish I had a lot more of these wheels around. I'm thinking Greenlight's Nissan Patrol is coming out soon, so that's got it looks like a heavy duty steel wheel, and it's got the hubs on it, so that might be a good wheel to investigate and see how you know, these trucks would look with it. So something to think about when that set comes out. And they're also doing the wheel and tire set of basically it's going to be the Tokyo series, and I think that wheel would look good on this because it'd probably be the right size and everything. Alright, so I'll put our Fords back. A lot of Ford trucks today. You know, it's probably going to be like this when the Chevys are coming. I mean, unfortunately, I'm not a discriminatory in terms of diecast. As long as it's American trucks, I'm all in. Okay. So, where'd that guy go? Gotta see what we reviewed today. Alright, so gonna look at another Greenlight vehicle. So this is gonna be rounding out my Oldsmobile Vista Cruiser collection up to this point, and Series 17 again. This is the packaging. It's a very interesting color. You see this thing do the pre-release online, and you know, it tells you what's coming, and they give you the picture. It's never quite what you see in person. Of course, there's the Series 17 vehicles lineup. A couple good ones, but really only the Oldsmobile is the one that was a must-have. So I did find this locally. I was very happy to find it. And take a look at this bad boy. The other thing I like about this is, again, they're consistent with the changes between the 70 through the 72, and this is supposed to be a 71. This does have the Oldsmobile sombrero hubcap, meaning that it's basically looks like a sombrero, and that's why they have that nickname. See, it goes out and then up again, in and out. But anyway, it's got like a pea green metallic. This is very, very 70s to me. I love it. It's got like a lighter yellowish green tinted interior, and the 71 grille. This also has a raised hood line, unlike the 70, and I'll get the other ones involved in a minute. Might as well. I got them around. Wood grain on the bottom half. Of course, you got your top. That's the Vista top. So you know, you'd be able to sit back there and kind of look out. I think even back then it had a shade that you could pull on that, I believe, because it got kind of warm. The other cool thing, again, the wraparound glass. Some European folks or people that know the British Land Rover, they have a similar type of system. Lets the light in, and it does. It makes it feel a lot different. Of course, this would be a third row car, meaning that the third seat is facing backwards, and it'll pop up from the floor. Again, the tailgate, no issues. Third Olds I've picked up. That's a Vista Cruiser from Greenlight. Tailgates have been spot on. So kudos to them. They're getting that down. You know, Crown Vics and Mercury's, some of their taillights aren't, you know, very operational. So just got to remember about that. So we're taking a look at the side. Again, good tampo work. Let's take a look here. Yep, there you go. They did the regular tires on this one, which fit the rims. So if you look at the other ones, they have those newer style vinyl tires, but these are the older style. So I like that. Base, serialized. This one's, pretty large. I think it's 3,700 on this one. So they make a bunch. I'd say they're close to what Autoworld does. That I've been seeing them and how fast they disappear from the shelves from each store. They really are only getting 1 or 2 cases of each release per store. And there are not too many stores. I know there's a lot in Canada too, because they still have Toys R Us. But you can catch them. I see. There's a bunch of peg warmers though too. Plenty of those. Hopefully, Greenlight takes notice on what's slow and what's not. Let's see here. So, just as a comparison, before we get to the little teardrop trailer, which is kind of okay, I guess. There's our 70 car, and then to flank it we got the 72. So we got all the 3 model years so far. That's when the body looked like this. They could probably go backwards, but I forget if the back changed, because the grill is very similar back to 68, but I think they changed a little bit in 70. Minor changes. But so anyway, they kind of look good together. Almost look like I got an Oldsmobile lot right now. I love it. But again, you can see the tires there, and they went to the bigger tire on the other one. So I kind of prefer the smaller tire. It does look a little bit more appropriate in terms of the way it fills out the wheel well. If you look at it there, it's kind of big. So I would say fan of the newer tire, I guess. So those are my Oldsmobiles. Let's take a look at the little trailer. It does hook on nice. All the State Wagon series, they always have hitches on them. Unless it's outside of the hitch, the Wagon series, they don't have hitches. Like the police cars and that kind of stuff that they've been doing. They did release just recently, if you want to keep your eyes out for it, they have a pace car, Oldsmobile Vista Cruiser. So they have a pace version, Indianapolis track car, and they also have a ambulance that just came out of this casting. So look out for those. I may or may not find those. Again, hobby exclusive, so you got to pay the extra money for shipping and all that. So sometimes I just don't get them. A lot of times you get luck out though if you go to the toy shows and stuff. Those are kind of where you pick up that stuff for a normal price. This does have an opening back. This is how these usually work. You kind of sleep here, and then you do all your business back here in terms of cooking and everything. It's cool. It looks good with the little car. I'd say this thing could tow whatever it wanted. You could still get a big block Oldsmobile motor for these cars, even into 72. And you could pull tandem axle Airstream with this thing, 27-footer if you wanted. Just put some springs on it. Many guys did that. This was the tow truck back then. A lot of race teams used wagons instead of pickups too. I could put more people in them. So there it is. Good looking unit. 71 Olds Vista Cruiser with the teardrop trailer. Okay, so next, let's take a look at some history. Greenlight's collaboration with Bob Chandler and the Bigfoot crew out there has resulted in some very good diecast. The new Bigfoots, and that's out. And then, of course, the 118 is coming. I'm still probably going to pick that up, so that'll be a cool truck. But let's look at this. So this is back when he was just starting to do, fooling around and doing big trucks and having bigger and bigger four-wheel drive trucks that won't break and can do more serious stuff, like go through whatever mud he wanted to, etc. And it resulted in something like this. And right before Bigfoot was named, or he might have had it already, but it wasn't on this truck. So he was just trying to promote his business because there was the four-wheel drive as a hobby was booming in the 70s, and he took his personal truck and basically did this to it. And it's a cool truck. Greenlight did the thing justice, and really this casting was the first before the Fords we've been looking at recently, pickup trucks. So really cool. It's got the original livery on it, Midwest four-wheel drive. It's got a black roll bar, not chrome. Basically, this is the Gen 1 Bigfoot casting, but with the original Ford front end, because he shows a 78, 79 front end later, and I'll bring it out real quick so you can see the difference. So, we got different intake setup as well. So you got a blower basically on this one, and then this one's got a blower with the I believe it was a blower plus the 3 carb. Those are Predator carbs, I guess they were used because you can go on crazy angles with them and they maintain pressure and fuel. So, but anyway, so that's the basically first Bigfoot, and then you got this bad boy, which is the experimental Bigfoot, as you'd say, and promotional tool for his business. Look at this thing. Rockwell axle. It's basically deuce and a quarter truck axle, military surplus, that type of thing. Basically those 6x6 trucks, that type of axle. You could buy a whole truck for very cheap and get the running gear and use all that, which is incredibly heavy duty, and you do whatever you want. Putting this kind of body on it, you could do a lot of tricks. You could do some jumps and all that type of stuff because it was so heavy. But it looks good. I love the early grill on this truck. I think that looks really cool. Really neat to get the history of Bigfoot right here, and the 4x4x4 that he used to put on there. Because it was a 4-wheel drive plus, he did the 4-wheel steering. He put the steering ram in the back as well and articulated that so he could do the 4-wheel steering. And that was another kind of thing that he was fooling around with that kind of worked really well. So, beautiful truck. Love it. So we're going to move on. We got the Bigfoots. Now we'll go to the last. I finally found them. The Buicks. Finally got these bad boys. We have the 1976 Buick State. Bicentennial year for America. Basically 76, 77 was really the last hurrah for these big, huge American cars. The gas crisis was killing us. And this is about to fall apart because I didn't open it up like I usually do. But I love this. I wanted to show this the artwork because it is very nice, very, very nice artwork. I always save the boxes, the Autoworld cars. It's part of it for me. I know a lot of people just throw it out, especially a lot of loose collectors. They have to draw the line sometimes. I try to keep up. But, I'll throw some packaging away, some not. But we'll take a look at the State Wagon real quick. Let's look at these things. Of course, this is a familiar casting. Really, the only thing that changes on this thing is very subtle. Very subtle things. Basically, this car was the same for many years. Probably about 4 or 5 years. It was the same body. They just changed the grille and updated the interior as necessary. But I love the brown. It's very nice, and I also like the blue. I think these were probably the best looking color schemes they've done on these cars. I mean, the other ones were nice, but these are very, very good, I would say. Very, very nice color scheme. And we could see the grille, how well it's done. This is when it was getting squared off. But as I was saying, really the last hurrah. At 77, 78, everything was getting downsized. And it was all going back to the intermediate size, as they called it, even though that was really a full-size car anyway, by today's standards, certainly. But back then, intermediates were smaller than this. This was the grand full-size car, which were basically longer than your Suburban, bigger than your Suburban, really, of today. And these cars were incredible. Everybody had one. they had a family, they had a type of vehicle like this. The big three certainly had their versions of them, and then it went on down the line because really, you know, every division of General Motors, every division of Chrysler, and Ford, you know, because Lincoln didn't do it, but Ford had wagons. They all had big wagons, and it's just really good. This is really the last one. I think in 77 it was smaller for General Motors. So 76 was the last year for these big boys. And what a hurrah. This is the clamshell magic tailgate on these cars. And it went down into the floor. This part would go down and this window would go up. So this would go just sink into the floor with the motor. It was quite ingenious. Very, very cool. Left the whole back end of the car open to do whatever you wanted to do. It's got the thin white walls on this car that Autoworld did, and it's got a really good detail. It is metallic on both cars. Got the brown, musket brown, and what do they call the blue? Potomac. Oh my. Potomac blue poly for the other one. Quite a statement. Quite a statement this car would be. Very, very nice. 455 is still available for the year. So 455 big block. All the equipment, air conditioning, power steering, power brake, power seat, power windows, everything. Probably 8-track player. All that stuff in this car. Wow. So, Buicks. And again, we'll line them up too because we had a couple Buicks here. So we got those. And then we have the 74 that we had. And then we also had the 75s. So, these are the Buicks up to date. Here's the white one. There they all are for our pleasure. Hopefully we'll get the other ones. There's another set coming. Now they're starting to do solid colors again, I think. So, nice to see the Buicks rounded up finally. I figured I'd throw it on the same video. Kind of consolidate because new stuff is coming very shortly. So, got to get out of the way with that. So, hopefully this was fun. Caught us up on a little products that I've been waiting for, and lots of wagons. Always good to see the wagons. Well, hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching and subscribing. Till next time.